This is Colorado at Nebraska. This is Shedeur Sanders versus Dylan Raiola. This is Deion Sanders versus Matt Rule, and this is going to be awesome, Landis. So let's get to this. Colorado offense versus Nebraska defense. Matt Rule and Tony White, what are they going to do to Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter?
I try to put an umbrella over the thing. I think like try to limit big plays. If I'm Nebraska, I am showing up to this game daring Colorado to run the ball. I'm playing with the lightest box possible and make that rushing attack that did not look really all that improved from last year showed me that's worth paying attention to before I worry about it at all. And I'm diverting all my resources to trying to cover these receivers for Colorado, because Shedeur and the receivers looked like Shedeur and the receivers against North Dakota State. Like that much is true. And Shedeur threw for 393 yards and 2 touchdowns against Nebraska last year. Like they're capable of putting it on anybody if you give them the space to do it. And I don't know that Nebraska has enough to cover all of Jimmy Horn and Travis Hunter. And we didn't see a whole lot of LeJontay Wester in the opener either, the transfer receiver who I think is going to be pretty dynamic for them. Nor did we see much of Will Shepherd, who's another transfer who I think is a pretty high level guy. Like there are 4 dudes I think you got to worry about when you're trying to slow down this Colorado passing attack, and that doesn't include Shedeur, who's obviously a very good quarterback. But I think if you are a good defense who can try to control things up front, just kind of playing it straight up and just try to limit the explosive plays and make Colorado try to finish drives, I think that's the recipe for Nebraska. And then I wonder too whether or not Colorado can handle Nebraska up front. Nebraska's got some beef at defensive tackle. And it'll just be a test for this like reworked Colorado offensive line of exactly how much progress they made. Because I don't know that I saw what I wanted to see in that first game against North Dakota State from Colorado's offensive line.
Shedeur's so good.
He's very good.
Isn't he? He's so good.
He's really good.
He really moves in the pocket well, right? I think he's willing to take some shots. Travis Hunter is a problem, but as you up, and again, I wanted to give Colorado credit, and I did on the Monday show or whatever show it was, for sort of like, hey, they found a way to win that game. And it included Travis Hunter being extraordinary. But when you get a step up like this, don't people think Tony White is great, the Nebraska defensive coordinator? Like this is a next level of a coaching staff that is settled in a little bit, and 2 extraordinary individual players. But if they're one-dimensional, and you said if you were Nebraska, you would force Colorado to run. That's what they're going to do, right?
Yeah, I would invite them to run the ball and see if they can do it. Yeah.
So are these 2 first-round draft pick quarterbacks? Do you think that by the time, Dylan Raiola at Nebraska is only a true freshman, but Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Raiola, when they get to the NFL, will they get there by going in the first round of the draft, do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I don't know how many regular season matchups we're going to see between 2 starting quarterbacks who will eventually be first-round picks. I guess we could go through the entire schedule and try to figure that out. But that's why this game is going to be awesome, right? I mean, this is huge.
Carson Beck will play Quinn Ewers and Jackson Arnold will play Nico Iamaleava, but this is the other one that I can think of off the top of my head, right? I'm sure there are a few more, but this is a real big-time quarterback matchup, no doubt.
Yeah, for real. Travis Hunter, by the way, 55 plays on offense last week, 69 on defense, 7 on special teams, 131 total. Mm-hmm. He had, I think, at least 3 games last year where he played more than that. I think he had a 160 snap game last year, which is just ridiculous. So I think that's what will happen, and then it's just a matter of, does it not matter that there is no run game for Colorado? And Nebraska's getting after him, and Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter say, okay, we'll deal with that, which is like, that's on the table, right? Shedeur's under pressure. He slides up, he looks, he turns, he's getting pressured does not stop him. So,
yeah, I mean, if he's pressured and can move, that's one thing. Like we all know how much he got sacked last year. Like that is, if you're actually hitting him, although he takes some licks, man, he keeps getting back up and keeps throwing the ball down the field. So you got to actually sack him. I don't know that merely hitting Shedeur Sanders takes him out of his game. He's just kind of used to it, I think.
Yeah. So on the other side of the ball, Nebraska is going to be able to run and pass. They ran 4 running backs last week, and Matt Rule said they're going to do it again this week. They're going to continue with the 4 backs. Are you going to have to help me with the Johnsons? Help me with the Johnsons. There's an E. Johnson and an R. Johnson. Why did I just write E. Johnson and R. Johnson for the Nebraska running backs? It's
Emmett Johnson and Ramir Johnson.
That's my bad. There's so many players in the North Bill. Do you know there's like 100 players on each team? And there's 28 teams that we cover, and that's 2,800 teams, 2,800 players. All right. Emmett Johnson, 8 carries for 71 yards. Ramir Johnson, 11 carries for 55, I think it was. Dante Dowdell, 8 carries for 55, and Gabe Urban, 6 carries for 24. Dante Dowdell runs with his hair on fire. He looks like Kareem Hunt to me. He is unbelievable. He wants contact. But he fumbled last week, and then Matt Rule didn't play him again. So you've got to hold on to the ball, which is one of those things you can do when you have 4 running backs. It's like you make one mistake, sorry. But I thought all the running backs, but especially Dowdell, played like they were trying to prove that they should play some more, which might be an advantage to playing 4 running backs. And Matt Rule said also, it's hot. We keep them fresh. They have a couple guys that are maybe more like goal line or third down guys. They have other. But I thought Dante Dowdell, I was like, give him the ball 18 times a game, but maybe he runs like a maniac because he's not getting it 18 times a game. But he jumped off the screen to me.
Yeah, I know he's good. They have a pretty good stable of backs here, and I don't think they're going to get much resistance from Colorado's defense. You mentioned Dante Dowdell fumbling the ball last week. This game last year was all about Nebraska turning the ball over 4 times. If they don't turn the ball over 4 times, they might win last year.
Drop my notes.
And they weren't very good. So if Nebraska doesn't give the ball to Colorado, I think Nebraska wins. Like as simple as that is, because I think they'll be able to run it. I think Dylan Raiola will be able to throw it. Like the one unknown factor for me in this game, I guess, is if Colorado is able to get pressure on Dylan Raiola, whether that's with someone like Deion Hayes or if they just start dialing it up and really coming after him blitz wise. He's a true freshman playing his second game. We don't know entirely how he might handle that. But he's like a pretty big, sturdy guy, and he's tall, and he can see that kind of stuff. So I don't know if that necessarily gets him out of his game. So I just think it's not giving the ball away is your recipe to win this game if you're Nebraska.
Do you take your notes on your computer and read things off a computer, or do you print them out and have them on hard copy?
I read them off my computer.
Yeah. I drop my notes because I like to print them out, and then I have a highlighter. I highlight things.
Oh yeah, is that
because I'm old? Does it make
no? If I had a printer, I think I'd do the same thing. I just don't have a printer.
Oh, our printer is terrible. We scream at our printer makes us cry. It makes us scream. But my wife says that everybody hates their printer, which I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
She said there's a meme that it's something like whoever named the band Rage Against the Machine must have been thinking about a printer.
Oh,
that's a funny meme to me. That's like what a 50-year-old guy thinks about. It's like, oh, my printer. Let me tell you, I'm trying to print off my phone, and then I sometimes have to email my wife so she can print it off her computer because my phone won't find the printer. Anyway, I dropped my notes there for a little bit.
There's like a whole episode of The Office it's about, I think, how crappy their printer is.
Yeah. Well, the Office Space, the movie, is based on bad printers, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to go downstairs and beat my printer to death with my dragon statue. You could get some work done.
That thing actually seems like it's more of a weapon than the swords, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. No, I definitely, if I was trying, if my wife was having an affair and I accidentally in a rage killed the person she was having an affair with, it would be with this dragon statue, right? Not to give away plots of 25-year-old movies, right? Yeah. But the dragon statue could be a weapon. All right, so I think Nebraska's going to win this game. I do think Colorado gave up some stuff against North Dakota State. They got 3 straight third down stops in the middle and late part of that North Dakota State game that They were down 2014. Here's what it was. Colorado was down 2014, and then they forced 3 straight punts by North Dakota State to allow themselves to go up 31-14. So, or to go up 31-20, excuse me. So they scored 17 straight points because their defense got stops. And again, you have to be opportunistic in the moment. Chidozie Wankwa was the guy who really made a difference. He had a run stop on 3rd and 2 where he clogged up a hole. He had a sack on 3rd and 6 for another stop, and then another stop. They on like a 3rd and 8, they forced pressure and made the quarterback run out of bounds. So it wasn't a perfect defensive effort, but when they needed it, when the game was at winning time, the defense was good enough in moments. I don't know that it will be good enough overall over time. There are 11 starters last week. There were 5 guys who were back from last year who played a bunch of snaps, and 6 transfers who came in and started on that defense. So again, this is a rebuilt Colorado team. They did have a couple guys who made a difference. And I think Robert Livingston was a good hire at defensive coordinator. I don't know that over the course of 60 minutes, it's enough. And I thought Dylan Raiola played with a lot of maturity. Did you think? Yeah. I just thought he had arm angles. He went through progressions. I thought you could see he did not get rattled. And I think he will be ready for this. And if they can't rattle him, and I don't think they can, I do think Nebraska is going to be able to run the ball. It'll be a better balanced attack. And I have Nebraska winning 31-23.
I have Nebraska winning. I think my score on the screen is wrong. It's actually 38-35. So again, like a little bit of a shootout, I think, because I do want to pay proper respect to what Colorado has in its passing attack. But I just think, like I said, I think Nebraska is going to have opportunities to run it and then hit shots down the field. I agree with you that Dylan Raiola looked mature, comfortable, confident, and it's UTEP, right? But I don't know how much more of a step up Colorado is defensively, if I'm being totally honest. I think that Colorado secondary is bad outside of Travis Hunter. And when Travis Hunter is playing every single snap on both sides of the ball, that makes your secondary even that much worse. So I think Dylan Raiola, Isaiah Nair, Jamal Banks are going to be able to throw it on them, and they're going to be able to run it, and they're going to win. Yeah.
Also, Ja'Cory Barney, true freshman from Florida. Keep your eyeballs on him. He had 3 kick returns for 75 yards last week. Gained, I think he had like a jet sweep. I think he had another big play that got called back by a penalty, like a 25-yard reception or so. That guy is fast. Mm-hmm. So when there's a super fast guy on your screen for Nebraska, that's who it is. This, right, is an old Big 8 rivalry. They scheduled it. They had the game last year, and this year they don't have another series, another home and home scheduled. I think they also played like in 18 and 19 or something like that. So they've had 2 home and homes since Nebraska left for the Big Ten. Rick George, the Colorado AD, is interested in playing some more. I hope they do it. Like, this is great. This is exactly who Nebraska and they should be playing each other, just like we want West Virginia and Pitt and Penn State and Cincinnati and teams like that to play each other in the non-conference. I think Colorado and Nebraska should probably play 4 times a decade, 2 home and homes every 10 years. I don't think that's too much to ask.
No, I don't think so. It should be fairly regular, I think, right? There's a lot of history there. I don't want to go away for more than like 2 or 3 years at a time.
Yeah. Cameron Silman Craig, who's sort of like the leader of the defense, one of their starting safeties, he got hurt like 10 plays in last week, but he should be back this week. They're anticipating that. So that would at least help the Colorado defense, but I don't know that they're going to slow down Dylan Raiola. And we have two pretty interesting scores, both Nebraska wins. Okay, that's our second big game breakdown.